Are you ready?
Yep. It's EYTAN'S nature and fossil hunt. Want to say anything to the camera?
Sure. It's a nodule. It's what fossils happen in. They don't happen that often, but they're really cool when they do. We just found this at Pit 13 in Zonia Braidwood. Yeah, fossil. Oh hey, I didn't see you there. Let's hike. Alright, so what we've got over here, if you look at this guy, this is part of a nodule. This is what you're looking for. It's this orangey red hematite shale, and it forms concretions that contain fossils. We've walked down the path behind Eagle Lake in hopes of finding another spot of abundant fossils, and we've found this over here, these hills that would be great to go to after a good rainfall of erosion, and skipping rocks!
Pulling up to Morris, Illinois. Woo!
We're just checking out these leaves. They're freaking huge. They're maple leaves from this tree. And it's just pretty cool because, you know, they didn't cut down these trees to make way for a city or anything, so they managed to get old and huge, and so it's something you don't see every day. Da-da-da. Oh hey, I didn't see you there. Let me tell you something about rocks. You see these diagonal lines going through the sandstone here? You see how it comes off like that? That's because this once upon a time was a desert, and these are fossilized sand dunes. These stripes are from the wind blowing the sand, and yeah, you can just see it comes right off, not terribly well consolidated. So, yeah, Illinois was once a desert in the tropics. Now you know. We have just found something really fantastic, and if you look here, you can see these marks. These little kind of they look like scratch marks. Now, what these are, believe it or not, are actually something called glacial striations. And when the glaciers were covering this whole area, they were about a mile deep. Mile of ice, straight up. And glaciers aren't clean. They're covered, they're filled with little tiny rocks, big boulders, all sorts of stuff. But all of the rocks, you know, they're all mixed out throughout the glacier. So some of them are on the bottom. And when you hit the bedrock, this was the bedrock at the time of probably the Wisconsin age glaciers. And if you look here, these are the marks from the glacier pushing down with the rocks and scratching into the bedrock.
Nuclear power plant out here. It's crazy, you guys can't see it.
But it's there.
It's there, and it's billowing white smoke. It's kind of shady. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay. Yep. We ain't got the time of day.
I love trains. Take a look at the moon. You'll notice, or maybe you won't, but it's extremely bright. It's abnormally bright. Some would say it's freakishly bright. Here's the deal. In 2 days, there's going to be a full moon. It's going to be the 19th of March, 2011. At that time, the moon will be the closest it's been to the Earth in a very long time, making it appear larger and brighter in the sky. It will also happen to be a full moon. Having these two occasions on the same occasion is very spectacular, and we're going to have a hell of a show. You know, some people say the moon was created by God. Other people say it was created by a Mars-sized object hitting the Earth about 4.5 billion years ago. So here's what happened. This is the Earth. This is a Mars-sized object. And they were both still kind of molten. And then they smashed into each other. And they kind of blew up and liquefied because of the impact. I'm back. Jamie and I have gone on an adventure. I think it's April 26th. I'm not really sure. But we have come to Milwaukee and we are walking along over here on the edge of the lake. Way out into the lake from Milwaukee. And it's beautiful and it's peaceful and there's no one here and it's freaking awesome. And we were looking down at the lake as we walked through this dock, and we saw this log. And this log was probably... It was very old. It was large. It was a very large, thick log. I would probably say it was maybe 20 or 30 years old. And I sat for a moment and I thought, and I stared at that log, and I realized that 20 or 30 years ago somewhere, on the edge of Lake Michigan, a seed was planted. And that seed sprouted and successfully grew for probably 15, 16, 17 years. And just grew and thrived into a beautiful tree. And then a storm came along one day and knocked it over and cut it off from its roots. And it got thrown into the waters of Lake Michigan. And the currents took it out to sea, and the log drifted through this entire lake for months, maybe longer, and eventually happened to settle upon the rocks that were right in front of our feet. It's all about the big picture, kids. Don't forget that. Hey.
This is revolutionary! There's no way I can pass this one up, Kevin. There's no way. The ruby of Poseidon. The ruby of Poseidon. I was looking through my strawberries and I found the ruby of Poseidon. It is the largest strawberry in the whole world. You can't eat it because it's made of rubies. And Poseidon will be mad. Poseidon. Ruby of Poseidon.
I think the funniest thing is doing.
This was the largest strawberry I had ever seen. However, as you can see, it has decreased in size and is no longer very measurable, but it was about that large. You can only trust me, and I don't know why you would trust me, but you just gotta believe, man. It was huge. Ruby of Poseidon. Ruby of Poseidon.
I don't know about you, but she looks so good to me. When I see her in the club, she looks so good to me. She wants me right by her, eat of the night, not a word, cause she gon' drop it all over the floor, cause she gon' drop it all over the floor.
The robots here, so mean, from the shirt and the tiny shoes, and I got